FM News Talk 97.1. On-demand audio.
Right now, my next guest had a major announcement. This morning, Representative Todd Akin has now thrown his hat into the Senate race, and he's going to be taking on Claire McCaskill in 2012. Todd, good afternoon to you, Congressman. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Dana. It's just fantastic to be able to join you and your great listeners.
Well, we're very excited to hear that you've thrown your hat in the ring here. You're going to be going up against, you're wanting to take on, if you get through, make it through the primary, which you have a pretty conservative record, and going up against Claire McCaskill. This is, and I know you prayed about it a lot, and it took you some time to decide whether or not you wanted to leave your seat in the House of Representatives. You had some seniority there to go towards the Senate. What ultimately was it that contributed to your decision to say yes to this race?
Dana, that's a great question, and there were lots and lots of factors, but the main thing was this. My sense is that America literally stands on the brink of chaos, particularly because of the just absolutely out-of-control spending that we're doing and this Obamacare socialized medicine. We are really at a key juncture in history in 2012, and we have to decide which America we're going to be. Are we going to be an America that kind of follows Greece, or are we going to be the Americas of our forefathers' dreams, America that lives within our means, that cuts back on taxing and spending and borrowing, and gets back to the basic business of limited government and allowing Americans to be free and to chase their own dreams?
Yes, and this is going to be this is huge, the election coming up here in 2012, because there's a lot of things. If we don't have enough Republicans in the House and Senate, and if we don't end up taking the White House, I mean, all of the stuff that we've been fighting for our liberty in terms of health care, trying to get reduced spending, trying to get people to reform entitlement, we could lose ground on all of this, and so it's supremely important. Going up in the Senate.
Dana,
yes.
Just along those lines, you and your listeners, let me say, in November, the Marines landed. That new House that we have, all of the new freshmen, you've got some legitimate conservatives in there. And so in a way, we've taken the first beachhead, which is the House. We're 4 seats away from taking the U.S. Senate. Right now, they're blocking everything and stalling and giving us a lot of trouble. Now, there are only 4 seats you got to win. The Senate leadership says that Missouri is one of the top 3, and we do not have the liberty in this state, in the state of Missouri, to let Claire McCaskill go unchallenged without a really serious race.
Right, absolutely. What are some of the things what's the big thing? Say you get elected, you become our next senator. What is the big thing that you would like to focus your energies on, that you would like to get behind?
Well, there are so many different things, Dana, and it really depends, first of all, what committee you're on in the Senate, and it also depends different things going on in your own state. And so you have these sort of, if you will, I think of it as little small projects and medium-sized projects and large ones. One of the things that nobody has talked about, and if you want to say you broke it, boy, I'd love to have you talking about this, because even the think tanks have not given this the attention they should, and that is the organization of the House and the Senate. Is really antique, and it is not designed to be able to control the budget. Everybody knows the budget is out of control, but the system that's designed down there must be changed. It's grown up over 100 years, and we really need to systematically just take an eraser, say, wipe it clean. Now, if we were starting from scratch, how would we design how the House is organized? How does that interface with the administration? And then how do you do the budget process? Because this whole thing about authorizers and appropriators, it's very complicated, but the bottom line is it doesn't work. So on a really large scale, that's one thing. Another important project, and one we'll be dealing with when this debt ceiling vote comes up, and that is, how are we going to create the mechanism to keep the federal government from becoming even more of a tyrant? Hey, Dana, would you allow me to share a little quote with you? I think some of your Tea Party people just love this. First of all, I need to do an organizational, a little advertisement here. The new website, akin.org, is up. So it's akin.org. But here's a part of the Declaration of Independence that I came across, and I haven't heard many people quote it. But here's what it says. These are the complaints about old King George. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. I thought, that sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Our federal government harassing our people and sending swarms of officers to eat out their substance. I thought, well, that's what inspired our founders to state that it is the duty of every true patriot to resist tyranny.
Right.
And that's what's going on in America. We are standing up against tyranny. We're standing up against a government that really thinks that it's the master instead of the servant, and it's time to put the handcuffs back on big government.
Absolutely. We have about a minute left. We're on with Congressman Todd Akin. I have to ask you, too, as we have the debt ceiling. We hit the debt ceiling on Monday. We have the CBO telling us that our economy is unsustainable after 2037. What immediate steps do you see that need to be done right now in order to get us on the right track without voting to extend our credit?
Well, the first thing is, you take a look at who is orchestrating this. Oh, you've got to raise the debt ceiling or it's going to be Armageddon or all this stuff. We heard that from Paulson a couple of years ago. And at first it was pretty spooky. It was obvious that he was frightened. But you got to look past it and say, wait a minute, there's always this hubba before they try to sell you the used car. Mm-hmm. And in this case, the fact of the matter is this vote is set up by some congressmen in the past who had the wisdom to say, if you want to keep cranking up the debt, you've got to have the guts to stand up and take that tough vote. And I don't think anybody should vote to increase the debt ceiling unless in their heart of hearts they think that there are substantial mechanisms that are being agreed to and put in place to make sure that we're going to deal with this overspending. And exactly what those mechanisms are, there's a lot of ferment and people are talking about what's the best thing.
Yeah.
Now, the best deal, if you said, Todd, you're going to die tomorrow, but you could name one bill you'd pass, okay? It would be a constitutional amendment, and it would be just like the Missouri Hancock Amendment, and it would limit the size of the federal government to the size of the GDP.
Love it. We have to get going. Congressman Todd Akin, well, much luck on your race in the Senate. I know we'll be talking with you again soon. Akin.org. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dana. God bless you and all
too.
your great audience.
Take care.